Hello, I am Ankit Khandelwal, Accessibility Chair, YI Guwahati. Today, what we are going to discuss? We are going to discuss what is disability and how you can take care of a person with disability. For that, we have with us Mrs. Aruna Saravgi. Mrs. Saravgi is a rehabilitation psychologist with over 17 years of rich and extensive experience in the areas of counseling and hypnotherapy. She has proficiency in psychology counseling, hypnotherapy, play therapy, relationship counseling, and career counseling. She has also demonstrated her abilities in various therapies. She is a gold medalist from Rajasthan University. She has attended many workshops in Guwahati itself as chief guest, as chief speaker. She is a life member of Indian Association of Rehabilitation Professionals, Varanasi, and Indian School Psychology Association. She is currently running her own clinic in Guwahati. So, Mrs. Saravgi, how are you today?
I'm good, all well. Thank you so much.
So, we're gonna jump up to questions.
Sure.
Many would not know what is disability. So, how would you describe disability? And is it only with people that have problem while walking who are in the category of disability?
Such a nice, pertinent question to create awareness about disability. No, disability does not mean only the disability which is evident, like the physical disability. Physical disability, anybody could identify that this person is having problem in walking or getting up or whatever. But there are other disabilities like intellectual disability, which really people don't understand. Then there are sensory impairments also. So what is disability? Disability means a long-term impairment in any area, whether be physical, mental, intellectual or sensory. And that has to create an impediment in order for the person to function, to be at par with the people of his age. That person would not be able to do the things which a person of his age or mental capacity would be able to do. So that all comes under disability.
Now my second question would be, what are the different types of disability that are recognized by the central government?
Yes. See, the Person with Disability Act 1995 recognized only 7 disabilities. But now there has been amendment and there is the RPWT Act 2016, which recognizes about 21 disabilities, and that can be categorized under different domains like intellectual, physical, neurological, mental illness, and likewise. So the problems like sickle cell disease, then acid attack victims, then thalassemia, Parkinson's, all these also come under the purview of disability. So the spectrum has really broadened. And earlier, like the children with autism, then the children with learning disability faced a lot of problem because they did not fall under any category. But now, under the intellectual disability, this has been recognized and they have all the provisions and accommodations which they can avail while studying.
That's very insightful. I would also like to know how you can identify or how a disability is assessed in a person.
Yes. So there are different scales, and it is a comprehensive evaluation to assess the disability type, the disability degree, severity. So for that you need a team, a team of professionals like the medical professionals, the doctors, the pediatricians, the neurologists, depending upon the issue the child or the adult is facing. And then a psychological evaluation. Then the occupational therapist would evaluate from his angle, a physiotherapist would evaluate from his angle. Then we have to assess whether this child has any learning need, and accordingly a comprehensive evaluation program is tailored according to the severity or the problem of the person is facing.
That's a
Number of professionals are needed.
number of professionals being engaged just to identify one
Yes.
person with disability.
Yes. And for the child, I would like to add, for a child we have developmental milestones.
Understood.
So the developmental milestones are an important marker for us to know whether the child is having any red flag. If we see any red flag, we should visit a pediatrician or maybe whoever professional is required at that time.
Now, it's also an insightful detail which everyone would like to know. If you have a family member who is suffering from disability, you might get irritated or frustrated. But from a psychologist's point of view, what would you recommend how to take care of someone with disability?
There is a proverb you might be knowing that an empty cup cannot hold anything, right? So likewise, if you are undergoing stress, would you be able to handle a person with disability? A person with disability requires a lot of care and attention. It has its own needs. So in order to meet those needs, you first need to gather yourself. You need to first see whether you are mentally fit, whether you are physically fit to take care of that person. When a family member is having any disability, it brings a lot of toll on the immediate family members. If it is a child, the mother has to take, most of the care is taken care of by the mother. So the mother has to ensure that she takes care of herself first, and then only she can take care of the child. The psychological needs of the mother, if she is undergoing any stress, she should start with some relaxation techniques or maybe meditation, some stress busting techniques, and she should have some time, me time for herself, and she should engage her extended family, maybe the older child, maybe the husband, or maybe the in-laws, or professional help can also be seek anytime.
See, most of the time we see whenever there is a person with disability in any family, the family members start cursing, that why is he in our family or something like that. But that's very insightful.
I know, but first of all, I would like to add, Ankit, that acceptance has to be there.
Yeah.
When there is a child or a person with disability in your family, it is like a stages of grief. The person having that, the person would not accept, would always feel, why me? Why me? Would curse the God, curse his fate, or just be angry. So the first is that you need to accept that God has given you, or whatever the reason, you have this person with you. So now, whatever the circumstances, whatever the thing, you have to accept this person and help this person. So it should be taken as a problem maybe. You should have a problem-solving attitude. So now, these are the issues. These are the concurring things which I need to handle. And accordingly, you have to prepare yourself, set a goal, schedule things, and then you have to move ahead.
I'm sure this insightful must have helped a few, if not many. Coming up to our next question. How do you differentiate between pain that needs medical attention and pain that is normal part of the condition?
Yeah, sometimes, a person with disabilities, mainly children, they are not able to identify whether it is the emotional need or it is the physical pain. So for that, you need to maintain, the caregiver need to maintain a pain log and has to see the pattern, the triggers which lead to that pain. Whether that pain is having some baseline. If it has a baseline, it would be consistent, and with treatment, it would elevate, right? But if it is a psychological pain, it would be due to some of the other triggers. So that way we will be able to identify whether it is a psychological pain or it is a physical pain, and accordingly we have to deal with it. So a lot of support is needed from the caregiver, lot of reassurance and high self-esteem building is needed for the child or the person with disability. Many a times they feel that they are not good for nothing, they are just good for nothing. They have that attention-seeking behavior also many a times. So that we need to, like, it's not sympathy anymore, it's empathy and empowerment. So we have to empower that person. Even if you have this disability, still you have certain strengths and you can re-establish yourself into the mainstream.
With so much career option being opened in the last 10 to 15 years, you no longer need to travel or keep walking through the day. You can just sit at one place and earn money actually. So yeah, parents need to make their child a bit more aware of what's going in and around. Yeah.
Definitely.
How can we support the mental and emotional well-being of someone with a disability?
See, first and foremost is the person with disability. If that person has that insight and knows that, see, people with physical disability, maybe they have, if it is not cerebral palsy, they'll have that insight that this is the problem, I'm handicapped or whatever physical disability I'm having. So that person can be counseled that this is just a disability, but disability is not the whole.
Yeah.
This is just a part of you. But you have the other parts which are there and you can use those parts to re-establish yourself or to show that you are something. We can take the example of Stephen Hawking. Even after being disabled, he created history.
One of the best scientists.
So disability is one thing which is taken away by God, but there are many things which God gives us. So you need to find out that uniqueness in yourself. And you have to build that uniqueness and take yourself forward. So this is one that the person has to be taught about acceptance first. Second, the person should be having a support system, maybe in the form of some support group, or maybe the family members can be a support people. Anybody. We all are social, emotional, fallible human beings. So we all need social beings with us, support system with us. Then the person should be guided to develop some skills. Once the person feels empowered and being skillful, that person would feel confident and would be able to survive even after having that disability.
So it's the crux of the whole discussion, I believe, that as a parent or as a caretaker, you have to motivate them or you have to teach them some skills that you can go and achieve this skill, you can develop this skill within you, and then you are empowered. Empowered is the word that we need to educate them about.
Yes. And for empowerment, Ankit, I would like to say that people should be aware of the laws which our government is providing. There are so many laws, and we have the people with disability, they have their rights. They should be
empowered. Empowered is the word that we need to educate them about.
Yes. And for empowerment, Ankit, I would like to say that people should be aware of the laws which our government is providing. There are so many laws, and we have the people with disability, they have their rights. They should be knowing about the rights. The United Nations Conventions for the people with disability clearly states that no person should be discriminated. Right to equality and non-discrimination is there. Right to education is there. No school can deny a child with disability for getting admissions. Maybe they do not have the facility, but it is mandatory from the government to have a special educator and a counselor. And the building should be, the infrastructure should also be disabled friendly. So inclusivity is one of the crux which every person with disability should know. It is not something is someone is giving you out of sympathy or something which you are demanding, but this is your right. You have to be included. And then for employment also, there is 5% reservation in government jobs. So the people should know how to get a disability certificate, how to get employed, how to be skillful, and how to even be academically oriented. You know, even if they are not able to go to the school, they can have online education. There are so many provisions. So any person should not be sitting in the house idly. The person should be assessed for his functionality, and accordingly the person should be guided.
So, as you mentioned, there are numerous laws, and also about the disability card. I would like to know how a person with disability can get their own disability card.
Yes. So see, there are two ways through which a disability card can be procured. One is offline. For that, you have to visit the government authorities. You know, online there is the UTID portal. There you get a Swamanamban card, and you have to upload all your documents, all your medical assessment, whatever has been done. Then you have to provide the Aadhaar card, the photographs, and it is very easily available. First, you need to identify under which disability you fall and how much is the severity. Like people with benchmark disability, that means the people having disability more than 40%. So you have to first define everything. So that assessment has to be done from a government hospital. And then you can go to the local authorities. Like here in Guwahati, we have Composite Regional Center, we have GMC, Social Welfare Department. We can go there and procure the disability card and apply for the disability card. And then there are various benefits after you get the disability card. Like in school or in board, you get extra time. You might apply for a scribe if you're not able to write. So there are many benefits which you can avail, and you can at least study forward further. I have helped many students with disability to study. You know, if they are not able to cope up with CBSE, they opt for NIS. NIS is National Institute of Open Schooling, which is very flexible. And CBSE is also helping a lot. So we have to be aware of all the provisions, accommodations, all the facilities and benefits provided by the government. Government is doing its bit, but we have to be aware how to avail it.
Understood. Now my last question would be, the rights of a person with disability are essential to ensuring that they live with dignity, equality and inclusivity. Can you throw a light on it?
Yes. See, these are the laws which are provided by the government, right? But now, there are many people in the rural sector, or maybe in our Guwahati, in our urban sector also, there are many parents who are unaware about the rights, about the inclusivity, about the employment opportunities. So for that, we need to create awareness. And there are many bodies at the central and the state level who are working towards ensuring that these rights are provided to the people with disability. Like there are chief commissioners at the central level, then there are the state commissioner at the state level, then there are so many non-governmental organizations like Shishu Sarthi, and all these are working a lot towards getting all the rights of the people with disability. So the person with disability should not feel that I am someone who cannot get anything. Rather, he should feel that it's okay, this is just a part of me which is not being able. Like if you take people with learning disability, specific learning disability, they are unable to comprehend, they are unable to read, but they can always use computers. Computers are allowed in the exam. So auto-correction is there.
Yeah.
It's not that their IQ is less, their IQ is average. But even after having average IQ, they are not able to read or write. That is because of the disability. So everybody, whoever is having this disability, first they need to educate themselves. Then what is it? What limitations do I have? And what are my strengths? How can I go about? There are so many famous personalities in our world who are living and thriving with their disabilities. So you should not feel that you are someone who's less, but rather you should work on yourself and work on your strengths and move ahead in life. Have a goal, have a long-term goal, have a short-term goal, and then move ahead according to your goal. There has to be an individualized care program or an individualized education program for every person with disability. Then only a goal will be set and that goal will be achieved. Unless and until we have a goal-oriented program, we won't be able to deal. Otherwise, days will just move into years and years will move into. So we have to identify what are the limitations, what are the barriers, and then maybe they need some assistive devices, maybe they need some support group. First we need to identify what are the needs, what are the requirements, and accordingly we have to act on that.
So guys, maybe this discussion might have given you a bit of insight as to what is disability and how you can take care of someone with disability. The crux, if the entire discussion has to be brought up in two lines, would be that you need to empathize with them. Don't show sympathy, but empathize with them, motivate them to find their unique skill through which they can empower themselves and survive in this world. And not to forget, you go out there and teach them that they can get their own disability card through which many of the government schemes can be availed by them. Thank you so much, Mr. Saravgi. Hope to see you for our next session sometime.
Thank you so much.